Okay, the boys are asleep, so it's time to talk. I am learning so much about ADHD in order to help my son. And it is urgent that I share with you what I'm finding out because time is of the essence. Our babies need us, and we need to be there for them in the best way possible. Because every day, more of our children are being diagnosed with a learning disability. And every day, we mothers are left scrambling and second guessing what's best for them. There are days when I feel so lost and I just can't seem to do anything right. Managing his behavior seems so much bigger than my capacity that I just want to shut down. If you ever feel like that, this video is for you because it's important that we educate ourselves on the matter so that we can parent with confidence. And if you're new to my channel, please like and subscribe. It truly does help the message reach more moms who are searching for help. And I hope this gives you some encouragement. And if you know anything about me, you know I'm ravenous for information. I seek to become wise in whatever I'm studying, learning enough of every theory out there to calibrate my instincts toward what is right for my kids, what they need right now. And I can read a lot in a short amount of time when I'm motivated. And in my recent past, I'd say I've read a lot of books about pregnancy and birth plans and delivery. And then it became about sleep training and child-led weaning. And then it became about parenting and discipline. And then it became about education and child development. And I don't do surface level. I go deep and I go fast because I believe the answers are out there. I just have to research and find what resonates for me. And then I collapse time for me and my family by processing deliberately and testing out my findings immediately, which helps collapse time for you too. Because if you're an entrepreneur mom like me, you could really benefit from saving time and improving your relationship with your kids in a way that allows you to still do the work you love beyond just being a mom. And I know you don't have unlimited hours. Who does? You're building something, a business, right? You're also raising someone, your baby. Both are important, and I get it. So the Cliff's Notes. Here's what we know about ADD and ADHD so far. It's a sign of heightened emotional sensitivity. A diagnosis means some form of an impaired functioning, astray from what science calls normal. It's difficult for a child with ADHD to self-regulate as they wrestle with low impulse control and overstimulation. And to help them find their way in life requires knowledgeable and creative approaches, like Gabor says in his book, Scattered Minds. Which leads me to the ultimate takeaway of this video. If you take one thing from this video, we have to remember that our kids are okay. They shouldn't be categorized or judged as having something wrong with them. And that is the most important thing, to remember that they just need to feel safe. Safe in their skin, safe at home, safe with you, their guardian, their advocate. And I have to hold the image of my son succeeding, right? Of him thriving in life, of him being happy, healthy, and whole, more than I hold an image of him being a disruption in class or a very busy body. And I talk to him from that place of trusting him to let me know what he needs. Because if I don't, who will? Who will believe in him when the going gets tough? Who will cheer him on when everyone else doubts that he stands a chance? It starts with you, his mother. And I know him being sent to the principal's office, the bad reports coming home every single day, the aggression, the scattered attention, the energy you can't keep up with, it's a lot to take on without feeling guilt and shame. It's hard to keep that from being the main story. If we become what we think about, then that extends to our kids and the way we bring them up. If we fear the worst, we tend to only see how the worst is happening and how we're not measuring up, instead of seeing the unfolding of this new soul into the world and how they just want to explore and play and be loved. And a little disclaimer, while I'm reading all these books on ADHD, I'm not labeling my son or becoming embarrassed about who he is. I'm becoming empowered. And I know there's a genius in him. And I just have to help him reach his potential in life. And understanding how to be there for your child is not giving into the conspiracy. I look at it as becoming informed in order to intuit how to best support him. Besides, depending on whatever book you're reading, ADHD is not a brain matter irregularity or a neural divergence, nor is it only the deep emotional pain and stress from a dysfunctional upbringing. It's both. And I read a line in Gabor Mate's book that one of his adult clients said about their experience with ADHD. And he wrote, "My room is always yelling at me." That was the moment I stopped reading and decided to do this video. It just enlightened me to so much of what my son is struggling with based on his tantrums and his cries for help. And if I didn't come from a place of wanting to help, and instead I punished him and I belittled him and I nagged him to clean his room for the 5th time today, I would be neglecting the fact that the motivation for him to clean his room is non-existent. His prefrontal cortex doesn't work that way. He's wired to spend time and attention on what he loves doing. And what a blessed way to live, right? I, unfortunately, have the honor of teaching him that the world demands a lot more from us. I get to show him how to still respond to the call of his heart and also find some self-responsibility. That's something he struggles with. So how traumatic would that be if I didn't understand his perspective first? And my son gets really overwhelmed and has a meltdown whenever I ask him to pick up after himself. He's not ignoring me. The room itself feels like an attack. He's processing, right? He's not being defiant. He's troubled, conflicted between doing what I ask him to do and what his own body is willing to do. And yet I force him to do things he doesn't want to do all the time. But here's the difference: my approach, my delivery, my intention. And that's why I pulled him from school, because I knew homeschooling would allow me to work with him on honing the mental resources that will enable him to clean his room or learn phonics and math and science and history and everything else that maybe feels like a chore at first, without feeling the struggle and the stress of feeling like a bad kid, without the medication, without the judgment. And plus, I want to continue to help build up his self-confidence. And how do I do this? In the way that works for him, with love and patience and playfulness. As much as his behavior might make me want to push him away a lot of the times when I'm already emotionally depleted, I know his behavior is a cry to pull him closer. It's tough though. When someone's acting out, every impulse says to create distance. But these kids aren't acting out, they're reaching out in the only language they have. And they're sensitive little souls. And can you imagine being dismissive of someone crying out for help just because they don't speak your language or they don't always use the right words? Here's the telltale sign. If he's the one running away from you instead of climbing all over you to play and cuddle, something is seriously wrong. He's scared. And I use my son's affection as feedback. When he kisses me and he says he loves me, that's my sign to keep doing more of what I'm doing. More of the patient nurturing of his emerging personality. When kids are young, all they want is our love and affection. It can never be too much. Let them be the one to ask you to stop. Don't ever assume they want you to. After reading so many books and being all over the web, here's what I now think. Our children can be cured of ADHD with our unrelenting love and affection. What I'm saying is, do your best to make them feel safe and seen and held exactly as they are. Let them know they don't have to fight to stay in your life, that you want them there no matter what. The diagnosis of ADHD can come from heredity, stress from the mom during utero, environmental stress in their childhood, from their stressed out parents bickering, and from feeling misunderstood as if they have no friends. Imagine the weight of that and not being taught the tools to cope, only yelled at to figure it out. We're human, and it will be hard to always want to hug and cuddle these walking terrors, but they are the sweetest, most precious, most impressionable, most dependent humans you will ever know. If you don't sacrifice all you can for their sake to be the best parent you can be, then what else is there? And I don't mean sacrifice yourself and your well-being. No, you need that. I mean sacrifice the version of you that reacts instead of responds. The version that's too tired to try one more time. The version that's ill-informed. The version that would rather pass them off for someone else to deal with. Do what you need to do to stay present and patient with them. I don't care if it's a massage every week or you need an entire 48 hours off once a month. Hire a babysitter or exchange the favor with a family member and do it. Make the math math. You do what it takes, right? Because as you get good at doing what they need you to do, you are learning each other, connecting deeper, and building a bond that is indestructible. Until they're fully self-sufficient, put the time into this, being their mother. The rest will fall into place. Just like anything you've ever tried to turn into a habit, from healthy eating to being more productive, it becomes second nature, and your bandwidth opens up to receive more. Being a good mother can be a habit. Understanding your child is you getting good at something, and soon it will feel effortless. You've spent so much time being proficient at work, in your career, at your craft. Why is motherhood any different? Being a student doesn't stop here. So again, what if there's nothing wrong with our kids? What if how they are is drawing out the next evolution of who you're becoming? Do it for them. And for more on this topic, check out this video next. Until the next one, peace.